Hey guys, welcome to Bookmas Day 2. Today I'm going to do my November wrap-up because I didn't really read that many books in November. I feel like I was kind of in a slump majority of the month, so I only have 7 books for November, and then after I do my November wrap-up, I thought it would be fun to do like a little book advent calendar, so I wrapped up 12 books for my TBR, and I'm going to use a random number generator and pick maybe 5 or 6. I'm not sure because I already have a lot of Christmas books that I want to get to in addition to what's up here, so I think I might pick 5 so I'm not too overwhelmed. But I just thought that was like a little fun Christmassy thing that we could do for Bookmas together. So first I'm going to go through all the books that I read in November. Like I said, I read 7 books, and for the genres, I'm not really sure. So I know I have 2 romances, and then maybe 2 lit fics, and then 2 YA romances. That's how I'll divide them, because I feel like they get pretty specific. Oh wait, no. I have 3 romances. Just kidding. So the first book that I read was Catherine Center's Hello Stranger, and this one is about the main character Sadie, who is wanting to be an artist. She takes nothing from her family. She wants to get there herself and prove her family wrong that she can make a living being an artist. So her big break is coming up. She gets accepted into this big art competition to create a portrait of a live portrait of somebody, and she ends up having an accident right before this competition that causes something like in her nerves in her head to cause her to have facial blindness. She's very upset about that. She didn't want to have the surgery to fix it that causes it, but she kind of had to, and now she doesn't know what to do about the competition, because if she cannot see faces, how is she going to draw a portrait of somebody? It's hard to describe this one. There's like a really big like plot twist at the end, which I wasn't expecting, which made me enjoy it more. I didn't enjoy The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, but I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more, and then the rom-commers, it was like a 5-star read for me. So I feel like her books are just like hit or miss. But this one, I feel like it's not super romance heavy. I think it's more like lit fic. But I still really enjoyed it. And again, like the plot twist got me at the end. But she's basically just trying to find another way to draw portraits of people for this competition. And yeah, if you've read Catherine Center, you know some of her like characters and plot lines can be like totally bizarre, and I feel like some of that happens in here, but it's not as much as The Bodyguard, which made me enjoy it more. So I did give this one 3 stars, maybe 3.5, just because I did enjoy it more than The Bodyguard. Then I read Talking at Night by Claire Deverly. This is I wouldn't classify as a romance. It's a literary fiction that follows Will and Rosie over like the span of like however many years. It's like it's very similar to Sally Rooney's Normal People, where you're basically just following these 2 characters who have like all these terrible things are happening to them and in their life that keeps them from being together, but you know they want to. That's basically what this book is. And the writing's also very similar, because she doesn't use quotation marks in this one, just like Sally Rooney. She doesn't use quotation marks in hers, but I think I enjoyed this one a lot more. These type of books can be frustrating If you go in like wanting the romance like from the beginning, you kind of can't go in that way. So it's all about your headspace when you start reading this book, about like whether you'll enjoy it or not. So I knew that it was like normal people, so it wasn't frustrating to me. But sometimes these books are like, why can't they just be together already? But you're basically just following them over the span of their teenage and adult years, and their paths just keep crossing, and I really loved it. I love some of the quotes in here were really good. So if you liked normal people, you'd probably really enjoy this one. I gave this one 4 stars. Next, I read Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is the newest release in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And this one is about Teddy, and who is Emmy's best friend. Emmy is the main character from the first book, and Gus is Emmy's oldest brother, I believe. And he is a single parent. He kind of co-parents with his ex. I don't think they were ever married. And she has to go away for school or something, like business, like she's studying to become a lawyer, so he has his daughter for the whole summer, and he's kind of struggling to keep up with the ranch and all his duties on the ranch with his daughter. So his sister Emmy volunteers Teddy to be his daughter's nanny, and for some reason Teddy and Gus hate each other. I don't know why, they can't get along, but being forced in to spend time with each other, like now that she's his daughter's nanny, forces them to like form some sort of relationship and realize, oh, maybe you're not that bad, or maybe all these like feelings of hatred were really not, you know. But I love the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I love the small town ranch vibes, and it's very similar to Chestnut Springs. So if you liked Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver, then you would enjoy the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And I gave this one, I think, a 4.25. And then I kind of was like in a slump after that. I could not like pick up a book. So I eventually picked up The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and I've discovered that Kristen Hanna will get me out of any book slump. Her books are just so addicting, and the writing is fast-paced and interesting, and it just makes you want to keep reading. So this one takes place in Alaska in the 1970s. This girl named Lenny is living with her parents. Her father was a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War, so he comes back from the war a changed man, and he can't keep a job. Like, things are just different. So her father ends up inheriting some land in Alaska, and he just packs them all up and moves them to Alaska. And the thing about Alaska is it's very different from Washington. They have to learn very quickly how to survive in Alaska because of the winters, the animals, like even just other people. So it's really interesting just to see like that aspect of it, and see like, I mean, like I don't know anything about Alaska, like what it was like to live there during this time. And you know how it's like in the winter it's darker. I'm pretty sure it's the winter. It's like dark most of the day. I just think that's crazy. But this book does have talk of abuse in here, so just a little trigger warning. Might want to look those up if that's something that's important to you. But I really love this book. There's a little bit of romance in here. You're basically just following the main character Lenny growing up in Alaska and learning about people and relationships, and it's just kind of like a coming of age story, but in a totally different setting, and I loved it. I gave this one 5 stars. I finally started Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. So I had started this back in April on my Kindle, and I think I only read like a couple pages, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. But I recently just picked it up again because I think I saw Destiny in one of her like recent videos. She was like rereading the series, and I was like, okay, I just need to see what it's about. And I flew through this so fast. It was so good. My reactions, I videoed some of my reactions reading this and I'll insert them, but I just loved, I feel like it's very Wattpad writing. It gives Wattpad writing, but not in a bad way at all. It's very addicting, and it reminds me of some of maybe like the One Direction fan fictions that I would have read in 2014, but maybe that's why I was enjoying it, because it reminded me of those and I love those. But I love Johnny and Shannon. I love the relationship, and I don't really think this series should be YA. I don't know why it's in the YA section, just because I know their age is YA, but the things that happen in this, I definitely don't think they are. Basically, you're just following Shannon transferring to a new school where she meets the star rugby player named Johnny, and they kind of have a interaction, kind of like sparks an interest between both of them, and he realizes that like something is a little different about her, and he just has this like strong like protectiveness of her, and you're basically just following that. And the friendship in this is amazing, like found family. Ugh, I loved it so much. I loved it so much that I immediately went into the second one, Keeping 13, and this just follows the end of Binding 13, which leaves on a big cliffhanger. So I can't really say what this one's about, but you're still following Johnny and Shannon's relationship journey and the friendships in here, major plot points. But I do think this series is very character driven, so not super plot driven, but I love that about it, and just some of the quotes in here are amazing. I can't wait to read the rest of the series. These are the 2 books about Johnny and Shannon, and the 3rd book is about Shannon's brother Joey. So I'm excited to keep reading those, and I think I gave both of these 4 stars. I think I'm gonna bump them up to maybe like 4.25, because I enjoyed them way more than I thought I was going to, and I think about it all the time. And the last book I read was on my Kindle. I read A False Start by Elsie Silver, and that is the 4th book in her Gold Rush Ranch series, I believe. It's her first series that she ever wrote, and it follows the main character from the 3rd book in that series, his little sister, and his best friend. So it's brother's best friend, and there's also an age gap in this one, a 14-year age gap, and I feel like this might be my favorite one in this series, because I feel like I related to the relationship more, because me and my fiance have an age gap, and I just felt really seen in this one. And Elsie Silver writes age gap so well. She's the only one that I feel like can like write it really well without you feeling like a little uncomfortable. And I feel like I personally don't get that way, just because my fiance is older than me. But I really resonated with it. There's a quote in here that I'll put on the screen that I just loved, and when I was reading it, I showed it to my fiance, just because I was like, look, I was like, you just have to read this. But I did enjoy it, and I love the romance in it, and yeah, overall good. I think I give it a 3 star. I feel like I've given every single book in her Gold Rush Ranch series 3 stars, because they're not my favorite, but they're still good, and you can tell that they're her first books, and it's just amazing to see, like, even in the 4th book from the 1st book in that series, how much her writing has improved. But I think because I enjoyed this one more than her other ones, I think I might give this one a 3.5 or a 3.75. I always forget that I can like add those if I wanted to, because I feel like I just give everything like a whole number, like my rating's a whole number. But sometimes like some things, like this is more than a 3 star, but it's less than a 4. So I think I'm gonna bump this one up to 3.75. So those are all the books that I read in November, and now we're going to pick our December TBR. These books up here labeled 1 through 12. I have 2 of them that don't have ribbon on them because I ran out, so if you see that, that's why. But I'm gonna use a random number generator to pick these. And like I said, I think I'm just gonna do 5 so I'm not too overwhelmed with the amount of books that I want to read. The first book is 7. So that is this one. Should we open them as I pick them or open them all at the same time? I think I'll open them as I get them. So, numbers. Oh, this one. I have been wanting to read this one. This was my November book of the month pick, and it's P.S. I Hate You. So I really wanted to get to this in November, and I didn't get to it, so I'm super excited that it's on my TBR now. So maybe I can make it a priority to read. But this one is, this says it's about a bittersweet romantic comedy. Enemies forced together by a mutual loss are led on a cross-country journey toward a second chance. So, second chance romance. Love that. Okay, and the next one is 4. This looks like a paperback. Oh, okay. Ready or Not by Cara Pistone. This one is a surprise pregnancy trope. And a slow burn friends to lovers romance. So I've been wanting to read this since it came out in like April maybe. Is that when it came out? So super exciting, and I feel like I haven't read a lot of romance recently. I've been in a big fantasy mood, so this is, so we've got 2 romances so far, so that's good. And our third book is 11, another paperback. We've got a mystery. This is Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I read Local Woman Missing in October, I think, and I loved it, so I want to read more of her books. And this one is about a husband's disappearance that links 2 couples together. So her writing is just super fast-paced and like makes you just want to keep reading, and mysteries are actually really good at that. So I love mysteries for when I'm in a reading slump. So that would be great. Alright, so we have 2 more books. Alright, our 4th book is number 6. Got another, maybe not romance. I think this is probably more lit fic, but this one is How to Hide in Plain Sight by Emma Noyes. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but this one says it's about the unbreakable bonds of family and love, where basically this girl is going to Canada for her older brother's wedding, and she hasn't seen her family in 3 years, so there's a reason that she hasn't seen them for so long that she doesn't want to talk to them about yet. But so she has that aspect, and then she sees her best friend Manuel waiting for her at the marina, who they've known, I guess, they're childhood friends, and she fell in love with him, and I guess it didn't work out. So I guess him being there at the wedding kind of throws things through a loop, and I guess we're gonna follow that. So I feel like these have been like pretty easy books to follow. And our next book is number 8. Darling Girl by Liz Mikowski. This is perfect because I've been wanting to read this forever. Well, basically since I put it on my TBR, but it's a Peter Pan retelling. And I feel like this is a good time to read that. So this is amazing. I feel like this is a good little TBR to go with my Christmas books that I want to get to, which I'll go through those like really quickly because I did touch on them in most of them in my book haul in Bookmas Day 1. So I have Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, which is just like a little novella in the Caravel series that takes place during the Christmas time. Kingdom of Sweets is a Nutcracker retelling, I think. And then got 2 Emily Stone books, Love, Holly, and Winter Wish. Laura Gilmore's The Christmas Tree Farm, A Season for Second Chances, and A Very Merry Romance. Also on my December TBR is Light Lark, because this is part of my book club's pick of the month. Also, My December Darling by Lauren Asher is another pick for my book club's month. So I have those 2 books also to add to this TBR. So kind of an ambitious month, especially after the month I had in November, but I feel like maybe because I had a shorter reading month that maybe I'll like pick up more books in December. So we'll see about that. So that is my December TBR and November wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching today's Bookmas video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Bookmas Day 3. Bye!